is Antonio Moore coming to you from Tone Talks. Looking forward to having a discussion. I'm going to have a discussion today about rappers Jay-Z and Diddy and others and how they're moving from music into mass poverty exploitation. From rent to own to Uber to liquor sales, all they are is just poverty pimps. So you can keep playing their music or whatever. Don't ask me for a solution because you follow poverty pimps. And so I'll break down each level, and then you just figure out what to do. I don't believe that you stop with a reparative justice movement, but it starts with ADOS. But it also, you shouldn't love wealthy people as poor as many of us are. And then also the second part, just as important, you should have a high level of disdain for them, particularly when they sell the trash that these two people sell. But you don't, because you play the music and you invite them into your homes, and then you don't even know what you're doing. And then you say, what's the solution? Well, you keep with the Jay Morris and TREF and all the reparations rallies and all that stuff, but the histories and the backgrounds ain't right, and they don't know what they're talking about. That's why your $500 gone. But let's talk about Jay-Z and Diddy to get right into the specifics of this, because I don't know what the hell these people are. I know he's a high school dropout that sold drugs, and now he sell Uber and rent to own. And then this guy here, he dating this little young girl, then he used his daughters and getting them a car. And I don't know how that's in the news to cover it up. And then he running around, his name Love, but he sell liquor. And then he posed like he Joe Camel. Tell me this don't look the same. Right here. It's the same ad. This was banned as far as adolescents go because it targets them. And then this is basically a mimicking of this. They don't even allow alcohol to be advertised where they make the Ciroc. It's just for you and your family. These are the two of the same people. If you look, I'm not saying he looks like a camel. I'm saying the advertising is directly, it's the same advertising. It's the selling of aspiration and Black excellence and all the like. And that's what they did to you guys. So now you guys don't even understand your material condition because you celebrating some idea of Black excellence. And these people ain't even boule. They ain't go to Yale or Princeton or some Ivy. And they represent multi-generational families that ascended but didn't look out for the rest of the Blacks. No, this guy's a freaking high school dropout, bro. And you asking me for a solution. Turn the music off. Turn the music off. Next time you see him, go at him. I ain't saying to go at him physically, but you should be pissed that he exists. So, this is where we at. So we're going to get into the discussion and break down the discussion about Diddy and Jay-Z and this Black excellence and how they sell this to us. They sell this garbage to us. I got everybody in the chat. It's called empowerment porn, Chancey. That's all it is. Empowerment porn. You got a lot of lowly educated Black folks across America because we were shut out, and they used this 1999, 2000, it's 2022. These people are temptations basically now. In 1998, you could not sell us no artist from 72 and he dye his hair and he get to be cool still. Just saying. Come on. It's time to let these people go because they don't even make music no more. Now they just use music to sell exploitation, and y'all buy the exploitation and want to do it too. Want to sell some as well. We got to frame some stuff just to have the discussion. Some of the stuff we went through last show, some of the stuff we're going to go through this show. But I'm going to cut in about a 2.5 minute section where I break down the economics so we can have a educated discussion, because I don't want to be talking to people that don't know nothing. So the middle income of a Black person in America today is about $500 after taxes and the Social Security and everything. $500 a week. You promising you're gonna buy your kid a car, you're gonna buy your grandmama a house, you make $500 a week. How much is rent? $2,500. So you bundle up with your sister or your boyfriend or your friend, and then you guys get together and live and try to survive in this hard economic time. But you use these people and this Black excellence to anchor your identity because you can't accept the reality that you ADOS and you need to do politics. Garbage. Trash. All they sell is trash at this point. They're all moving their brands from music into trash, and white capital is basically holding the bulk of the value of many of these companies, and then they use them and the fact that you love them. You'll use $438.
All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start off this video by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you elect around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. All right, these are your fellow servants from the GMS Orlando camp. I'm your brother Rakaya, and I have the brother Nahoya here with me. And as you see from the title of tonight's lesson, all right, we want to go into poverty, pimps, and the real solutions, and me and the bro was just sitting there speaking, having a conversation on a video that we watched on the way to our location. And what you have with a lot of our people, a lot of the people of our nation who are put at the forefront is poverty pimps, people of our nation who exploit the shortcomings of our people for gain, for monetary gain and for status in this world, which is wicked, which shouldn't be so. All right, I got a precept for you here in Micah chapter 3, and I'm gonna hit verse 3. It says, I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, "And I said, hear I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and ye princes of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment, who hate the good and love the evil, who pluck off their skin from off them, and their flesh from off their bones, who also eat the flesh of my people, and fillet their skin from off them?"
Hey, because that clip that you saw, it goes into how those so-called leaders of Jacob are basically exploiting Jacob. They're not doing anything actually beneficial. And what they'll do is they'll have a toy drive, or they'll give out turkeys at Thanksgiving to cover up the fact that they're really dealing in exploitation. All right, and what you deal with is, when you look at that clip from Tone Talks, he brings out their business ventures. And when you look at Jake's business ventures, you'll know a tree by its fruits. And it's very clear that they're in the business of exploiting our people's position in this world.
Right, and what they're doing is flaying the skin off of our people, because these are the very same people who are supposed to be leaders. That's why the scriptures say that the leaders of our people cause them to err, because the leaders of our people have been set up in a place by Esau Edom to exploit the shortcomings of our people. The degeneracy, they're set up to exploit that and to profit off of that. This is Micah 3:3, "Who also eat the flesh off my people and flay their skin from off them, and they break their bones and chop them in pieces, as for the pot and as the flesh within the cauldron."
Hey, because the pastors do this too. They sit in these churches, your local church, and they exploit our people's position by selling them hope in exchange for their money. And they call it tithes. But they're not teaching the people who they actually are, and they're holding the scriptures in their hands, being deceptive. Those are another form of poverty pimps. All right? Because we talk about the ones that are on the mainstream scale, like LeBron and these so-called celebrities and these athletes. But really, it's everywhere in our community where you have these jakes that exploit the position that our people are in by selling them hope or empowerment porn, which is how Tone Talks describes what these guys sell. They sell these liquors, they sell these clubs, and they make it look like it's black excellence, so to speak. But really, it's just exploitation. Knowing that Jake is in a downtrodden position. All right, you say when you look at that video in full, all right, some of the areas where Jake is residing at, the average liquid income that they have is $8 in some cities. The average income of Jake, I get it, Lord willing, but it's not much. So what these guys do is they step in, Esau gives them money, and then they reign over their own people like kings. All right, real quick, this is 1 Corinthians 4:8. "Now ye are full, now ye are rich, ye have reigned as kings without us. And I would to Yahweh by Shema Shai ye did reign, that we also might reign with you." But the only way that they can reign is to exploit you. And that's exactly what they do.
Right, and that reign is really, they reign as kings, not like real kings, because a real king is in charge of his own resources. He's in charge of his own economic system. What we have here is basically a puppeteer system. Esau is behind the forefront of all the exploitation that's going on through the celebrities, through the pastors, through the preachers. All right, he allows these leaders of our people to profit, all right, off of the degeneracy that they sell to us, man. And at this,
you got
it. And like the brother said, the average household income of Jake is very low.
I got it. So it says the median household income as of 2021 for a black household is $46,774. That's a household. The individual, like the average individual income of a Jake, all right, is $26,725.
That's poverty. That's literally the poverty line. And like you, I don't know if you heard it in tone talks. All right, the average weekly income of Jake is $500. So here it is. The average Jake is taking in $500 a week, and what's being promoted to them through social media, through the music, through TV, is this baller lifestyle that they can't maintain. A baller lifestyle that's ultimately helping the system of Esau Edom.
And when you go into the medium household income being around $26,000, that breaks down to around $500 a week.
And that's the majority of our nation, which we base our consensus off of. We don't base our consensus off the exceptions like the brother always goes into. We base it off of the majority, and the majority of Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and American Indians, are on the poverty line. And what's being promoted to them is a baller lifestyle, this crash out mentality that's being promoted by their own people. They're being exploited by Israelites themselves. I got one for you.
Okay.
This is Isaiah chapter 1. And I'm going to start at verse 21. It says, "How is the faithful city becoming harlot? It was full of judgment, righteousness lodged in it, but now murderers. Thy silver is become dross, thy wine mixed with water. Thy princes are rebellious and companions of thieves." And that's exactly what we have. All right, the princes of our people nowadays are companions of thieves. It says, "Everyone loveth gifts and followeth after rewards."
And those are gifts. When Esau pays Jake a whole bunch of money to promote a product, he's giving them a gift. All right, what they call endorsements. These are deals where they put Jake up as this beacon of success for our people, and then they exploit the poor of our people, which is most of our people, by putting this guy up and having him sell a product that in many cases Jake don't actually own. When you look at these companies, a lot of times these companies are majoritarily owned by Edomites, and Jake might have a small percentage in it, but they put them up as the forefront, like they own it, to make Jake think that we're moving forward as a people, that is progress. But you notice these guys don't build anything that's actually useful or productive for our people. It's all about exploitation. That's why these guys go into, and Tone Talks was going into that, how they're going from out of music to basically poverty, being poverty pimps, selling sports betting companies or clubs or liquors. They don't sell or they don't invest in resources because it's not in their interest. And that's why the scriptures talk about them being companions of thieves, because Esau is a thief, and Jake has become a companion for their own belly, for their own interests, and they'll sell their people out for that cause.
Right. Because what these guys are investing in is everything that's keeping Jake in this lower state. Like the brother was saying, you have Jay-Z and Diddy investing in Ciroc, alcohol bottles, investing in clubs, investing in more of this degenerate music, which is ultimately driving Jake further and further down this rabbit hole, man, exploiting them even further to destroy themselves, man. It says, "They judge not the fatherless, neither doth the cause of the widow come unto them. Therefore, saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies." And this is one of the solutions, man. All right, one of the solutions to these poverty pimps is the Lord easing himself of them.
Right.
Complete and utter destruction. Because what our people are doing, when you think about it, it's so wicked, it's ridiculous. Because these are the same men of your nation that you're supposed to be able to trust. These are the same men of your nation you're supposed to be able to look up to for guidance. But instead, they're exploiting you for their own personal gain. the leaders of our nation always we're always supposed to have a nation mindset. But what's being promoted here is an individualistic mindset, and it's destroying our nation. So the Lord is going to ease him of all his adversaries, all those who do not want the commonwealth of Israel. It says, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin, and I will restore thy judges as at the first.
Because these are not the judges, you know. Our people look at these guys like they are the heads of our people, but they're not. All right, they are jesters that have been given a bag to keep our people distracted, but they're not the actual judges of our people. They're not the actual leaders of our nation, and you can see it. If you're spiritual, you can understand that. But because Jake only sees gain as godliness, they look at these guys as if they are the beacon of success. And what this guy was breaking down is that they basically exploit that. Jake's desire to progress as a people and to see it. But these are symbolic victories. They're not real. There's nothing tangible behind it. It's just a show. It's a facade. And these are the high-paid actors to promote that mirage.
It says, and I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city.
Because right now we're not called that. We're looked at as a harlot. And what is a harlot? She's sold to the highest bidder. And that's exactly what our people are. All the ones that our people look at as the success stories, these are guys that are willing to take a check and compromise integrity. They're willing to lie to their people. They're willing to deceive their people for their own personal gain. That's a harlot. They're willing to do anything for a check. That is a harlot. And that's exactly what our people have become in Babylon the Great. All right? But the Lord is restoring the nation, beginning with the elect. Lord willing, we be a part of that number.
Right.
I got one real quick. This is Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 5. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, saying, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let this ruin be under thy hand. In that day shall he swear, saying, I will not be an healer, for in my house is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a ruler of the people. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongue and their doings are against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory.
Hey, and this is exactly what we're seeing. Every one of our nation is oppressing themselves. We become our own oppressor. We become our own part of our own downfall. Because what we do as a nation of people, except outside of the remnant that the Lord has set up, is tear each other down.
And one of the beautiful verses in there was that, be thou our ruler. Because our people, and Tone went into that in his video, that our people are in such a destitute position in the world that they anchor themselves through the identity of these Jakes that get pushed up as success stories. So they live their life through these guys, and they look at these guys like they're rulers, and they're not. They're reigning as kings, not like kings. And because Jake is in such a destroyed state, they look to these guys to escape their reality. And that's what these guys do. They sell a false sense of reality. They sell a distraction. And it's for their own personal gain, not for the well-being of their people.
Right. And a part of the solutions, at this point, is for the Lord to utterly destroy these men, and for the Lord to issue in the true judges, all right, and the proper rulers of the world to come, spearheaded by Yahweh Shai. Because if this is allowed to continue, then ultimately we'll destroy ourselves, man. We'll be brought to an utter ruin if this is allowed to continue. That's why the Lord is shortening these days and raising up the next kings, priests, and rulers to be. Because there has to be a change. At this point, really, a lot of our people can see the problem, and they're asking for solutions. But the only true solution is for the Lord to set us up in our own land, all right, and establish us, spearheaded by Yahweh Shai, as a sovereign nation. The ideologies that Jake has is of reparations and building back our nation strong and coming back together as one nation. It just won't happen here. That's an impossible mission here, because the standard is not the same. The ideologies aren't the same. The goals aren't the same. The mission isn't the same.
Right.
That's why the Lord has to come back and unify us, man. Through Yahweh Shai, our whole nation is going to be unified. Then will come the issuing in on the Commonwealth of Israel. Got one.
Come on, real quick. This is Micah 3, and I'll read it in the NLT. Micah 3:1. I said, listen, you leaders of Israel. You are supposed to know right from wrong.
Right.
But you are the very ones who hate good and love evil. You skin my people alive and tear the flesh from their bones. Yes, you eat my people's flesh, strip off their skin, and break their bones. You chop them up like meat for the cooking pot.
And how are they doing that? You might think that's literally like, oh, they chopping our people up. By not giving our people proper judgment, by not judging our people properly, and by not telling our people the truth and giving them the standard of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that's essentially what they're doing. They're filleting the skin off our people. They're chopping them up. They're leaving them to the slaughter. Because our people has been likened unto sheep, right? And sheep need guidance. And the Lord set up certain leaders of our people to do that. But the leaders that are set in place now are leading our people straight to the slaughter.
Now, when you go into the commentary with David Guzik for Micah chapter 3, it says, hear now, O heads of Jacob. It says, previously Micah addressed his comments to the Most High's people in general. Now he specifically spoke to their leaders because they had both a special responsibility and accountability before the Most High. Part B says, you who hate good and love evil. He says, if this description wasn't bad enough, Micah went on to illustrate how terribly the leaders of Israel and Judah used the people. It says again, Micah went on to illustrate how terribly the leaders of Israel and Judah used the people as if they were cannibals feasting on the people of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
And do not the leaders, the so-called leaders of our people today, use our people for their own personal gain. You have men like Jay-Z, Diddy, who invest in these alcohol companies, who invest in these clubs, all right, knowing that the average household income of Jake is $500. So when they go out to ball out, they buying a bottle $200-$300. That's taking $200-$300 out that $500, and now they got to figure out how they're gonna live for the rest of the month.
Right.
Just so they can ball and have that experience of, they anchor, like the brother said, like the brother explained in the video, they anchoring their reality off of these so-called celebrities.
And they not real leaders. They not even as wealthy as they portray. These are things, these are dreams, these are mirages, they're not real. And the more you tell our people that, the more they despise it because they want to hear smooth words. The reality is that the guys that you look at as the leaders and the success stories of our people are just exploiting that very desire that you have to see success.
This is Hebrews chapter 13 and verse 14. For here we have no continuous city, but we seek one to come. And this very same fact is one of the many reasons why we don't have a continuous city here. Which is why we seek one to come, because as long as this is allowed to continue, our people are just going to continue to go down this rabbit hole of exploiting each other, of oppressing each other. That's why the Lord has to come and establish the kingdom of heaven, because the kingdom of heaven is going to be more than just baby, you a good feeling. No, our whole nation is going to be straight. Literally. Our whole nation is going to have a commonwealth. What you see the so-called white man have on a nationwide basis to where he's able to go anywhere and be treated like royalty, we're going to have that, but scale times 100, scale times 1,000 on a righteous level, because everybody's going to respect and love the standard that Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai comes with.
Real quick, this is Wisdom of Solomon chapter 6 and verse 24. But the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people.
Hey, the multitude of the wise is the upholding of the world. And that's exactly what the Lord is raising up here in the latter days. The multitude of the wise, that remnant, all right, who are going to seek after righteousness and seek after proper judgment in order to be those proper judges and rulers in the world to come. Because we see now, we see why the standard of the Lord is necessary. We see why the Lord set up everything, why he exactly how he set it up, Because without the order of the Lord, you have chaos. Without the order of the Lord, you have a nation divided. You have exploitation. You have oppression. You have chaos. You have a world in where you can't rest. You have a world in where you can't fully enjoy it. You have a world in where you can't, it's full of sorrow.
And your leaders, all right, the leaders of the nation are going to give them the true picture, not a mirage. It's a shame unto your people. The scriptures describe our people as a lost sheep. So these guys who have this status and this access in this society, they know that a lot of the things that brothers bring out are true, and they know it based on experience and conversations that they have with these Edomites that are on the top level. But they don't tell our people what's going on, and that's for their own benefit. But these are the guys that have been propped up as leaders of our people, and that's why Micah 3 shows you that it's been going on. Every captivity has been going on. The opportunist Jake looking for an opportunity to exploit our people for their own benefit, man.
Right.
And the Lord is showing forth these things so that in that day it's going to be known. There's going to be a separation.
Right. That's why the Lord has to reveal himself. That's why the Lord has to come back, because you always are going to have those opportunists of our nation who are going to seek out a better living state or a better situation in the state of their captivity instead of seeking after our own kingdom.
Yeah, they want those titles in those positions for their own belly. It ain't for the benefit of the nation of Israel. It ain't for the benefit of their people. Like these guys who do what they do, they're not doing it for the benefit of their own people. They're doing it for their own belly, to be looked at as kings amongst our people, knowing that our people are poor, man. You know, they get all of this bread and then they go and flash it in front of Jake, who make $500 a week, and they put it up as if they kings.
Right.
But they don't do that in these suburbs. They do that amongst Jake because they know that our people are in a poor state of mind, and they talk about his motivational purposes only. It's not. It's exploitation.
Right. And me and the brother was speaking earlier too about how, you know, most of the Jakes that are propped up are pure idiots, man. Jake will get millions of dollars and then go back, and instead of establishing a school system or a curriculum, you know, or doing something that better their nation, the case of their nation, like they love to say they want to do, they'll go back and give $40,000 back to the hood so they can flip bricks, or they'll go back and buy scat packs and guns for their friends so they can go against the ops. Right now, the leaders of our people are idiots and they're wicked.
I got one for you.
Mm-hmm.
This is Isaiah 3 and 4 in the NLT. It says, I will make boys their leaders and toddlers their rulers.
Man, and pure child. The leaders of our people have a pure childish mentality. What our people hold up at the forefront and glorify is childish. Popping bottles, twerking, all this garbage, all this degeneracy that we see on a daily basis is a childish mentality.
So if I could say this, because for edification's sake, you know, the scriptures tell us that Esau are the children of fools. All right, they're the bases of men. But what has Jake done? They've learned the ways of Esau, and they use the ways of Esau against our own people.
Mm-hmm. And they themselves in turn have become children. But you got it.
Let me see.
You got another one for you.
Come on, you got it.
Going into the solutions, this is Deuteronomy 33.
Oh, before you bring the solution, This is Jeremiah 5 and 26. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait as he that setteth snares. They set a trap. They catch men. Because they've learned the blueprint of Esau. And just like Esau exploits our people, these guys exploit our people using the same blueprint.
Right. This is Deuteronomy 33 and verse 27. It says, the eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms. And he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. All right, and this is the solution, man. All right, because at the end of the day, we need Yahweh Shai to return and establish ourselves and establish us as a sovereign nation. We need Yahweh Shai to return with that standard, so that we may dwell alone and prosper, man. But you got it.
There's Psalms 122:3. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together. Whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Yasher Allah, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David.
And the thrones of the house of David are being builded as we speak through the Spirit, by those men of understanding who are going to maintain the world to come. Lord willing, Lord, those men. You know? So with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and grace and peace to you electing around the four winds, believing and pushing this truth in all sincerity. May the blessing of election be upon your houses. Shalom.
Shalom.